You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. Billy Donovan could be going to Kentucky, and we also finally officially now know how many years are left on Billy Donovan's contract. Yes, it did take this for us to find out how many years are left on Billy Donovan's contract. Could Zach LaVine stay if Billy Donovan does leave? And will the Knicks get their revenge when they face off against the Chicago Bulls on Tuesday? We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs help you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Pat, so I love that we didn't go live initially where we thought we kind of could earlier in the day, because this story has progressed from last night when Calipari decided to take a job with the Arizona Razorbacks, I believe. No, Arkansas Razorbacks.
Oh, Arkansas, yeah.
Well, I don't know why Arizona came.
Arizona Razorbacks.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild.
Too, that's different. That's about to be crazy. That might have been the one. That might have been the one. That might have been the one.
But wow. But so it's initially started as that Billy Donovan could be somebody that the Kentucky could look at. And then that's kind of grown since then. Now there's mutual interest that Billy Donovan does have interest to go back to college, that now per ESPN that they are expecting, if you take that for what it's worth, that Billy Donovan could get this offer as soon as the Chicago Bulls season does end. Pat, how do you feel about the potential of Billy Donovan leaving the Chicago Bulls to go back to college?
Listen, I think it makes sense. I think that it is it's kind of where he's more comfortable. I think the kind of control that he wants to have on the court, you get more of that in the college setting. I think Billy Donovan's an excellent college head coach. Listen, we've seen mediocre NBA coaches go back to college and be wildly successful. Look at Fred Hoiberg, somebody who
just won Coach of the Year.
You said what?
You just won Coach of the Year this year.
Just won Coach of the Year. Yes, 100%. Like, you look at guys like that and say, oh, these guys were mid NBA coaches, right? Like, I mean, the epitome of mediocre. And then you send them back to college, and all of a sudden they're able to get over that hump. The NBA game and the college game, I think, just are very different in the sense that college still has more of that structure. College still has more control from the coaching side. The coach, a lot of times, right, a great coach makes a bigger impact than having great players in college does. You still need the great players, but why do we talk about guys like Shaka Smart? You know what I mean? Where everywhere this guy goes, it's not that players are following him everywhere. He's getting the most out of guys. I think that fits Billy Donovan. I think from the Bulls' perspective of this, it's change. It's the most I can say about it. It's change. It's different. I don't know if you find better, right? We were having this debate on the breeze tonight, like the names that you're looking at. All of a sudden, guys are excited about Mike Budenholzer again. I'm not excited about Mike Budenholzer. I've never been excited about Mike Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer was about to get fired until Giannis was like, all right, y'all want to get on my back, and then we're just going to head out to the NBA Finals and get this dub. Yeah, I mean, so like, I wonder. It's going to be different. It's going to be changed. Maybe you can find somebody with a modern philosophy. My fear is that you run back the Hoiberg situation where we go get somebody with a modern philosophy, but we keep the previous players who don't fit the modern philosophy.
And that's kind of my mindset too. If this happens, right, which is still a big if. I don't want to act like it's a foregone conclusion just because a couple of outlets are reporting it that way. But if this does happen, this gives the Bulls an opportunity for change. And unfortunately, it seems like change is always forced upon us. We talked about change being forced upon us, potentially when Zach LaVine requested a trade that kind of got delayed because of reasons. Yeah, reasons. But when it comes to this, is that if the Bulls move on from Billy Donovan, I just want them to get it. I don't want. I know people have said Chris Fleming, who went 5-0 in his time running the Chicago Bulls, and Billy Donovan. I don't want that. I want somebody who's going to come in with fresh eyes, no attachment to any players on this roster, and can make tough decisions about change. And yes, kind of more modern philosophies, but you also then hopefully that puts the front office in trying to get players that fit that modern philosophy. Fred Hoiberg, it was dealt a terrible hand. And did he adjust to the NBA game the best? Either no, two things can be true, but he never got the roster that made sense to what his coaching style is. He just never got that, right? And that's one of the things that college coaches, they don't have control over the roster like they do in college. So whatever the Bulls do as far as a new coach, if it does come to that, I want them to cast a wide net. I want them to do an extensive search. The Bulls were this close to hiring Ime Udoka. And Billy Donovan became available, and they decided to go with the more known commodity, right? So I want the Bulls to kind of go to, and that kind of really is what this front office has done in general, right? They said they wanted to build organically through the draft. You traded for Nikola Vucevic, and then you signed a 31-year-old DeMar DeRozan, and here we are, right? So, like, go back to what your philosophies initially seemed like they were going to be. You were going to get a young coach who was unproven as far as a head coach. You were going to build through the draft organically. That's what this team needs to do, I think, if a change truly does come, and I hope that that's what the route they go.
Yeah, 100%. I think listen, there's some interesting names out there that are still new. I wouldn't be completely out on a Chris Fleming. I'm not excited because of the 5-game win streak, but I would like to see you interview somebody who's been a part of things that can keep some semblance of maybe some of the successes that you've seen, but be able to add some new ideas in. And maybe he's been sitting there the whole time going, Billy, why don't you just do this, shoot some threes for the love of God? Why don't you shoot some threes? I'm fine with Chris Fleming if there's some added changes in there. But listen, I think that there is a plethora of coaches that you could look at now from all walks of life in this. You could go get one of those up and coming college coaches and maybe try and adjust them to the NBA game. We've seen that work. You missed out on your Ime Udoka, but who are the assistants that are on benches right now that you'd be interested in some of the other teams? I'm still on this, and I've always been on this, and I don't care what people say. It seems like she's a pretty good coach. It seems like she can get the most out of people. What's there to say that Becky Hammon wouldn't come back to the NBA to coach a premier team?
Listen. I know insecure men get completely turned off by that. Like even the coach that Charlotte's getting ready to interview, Lindsey Harding.
Don't take that job. Don't take that job.
Yeah, please don't take the Charlotte.
Do not be the first head coach.
Especially for the Charlotte freaking Hornets. But I just want to see them get it interesting. That's all I wanted to see, man.
And here's the thing: it's because of coaching ability. It has nothing to do with me setting barriers or breaking bounds. And I'm not that. Yeah, listen, I love it. I love that can be something that is a part of the story, but I'm looking for the best head coach available. I think at the time, even when we hired Billy Donovan, there was something to be said about Becky Hammon as a possible NBA candidate for head coach. She was getting multiple interviews. You know what I mean? I think that she's somebody that can walk into a locker room and lead. Maybe it scares. I'll tell you the thing that scares me most about the Becky Hammon. If you were to hire Becky Hammon, I'm scared of anybody off the pop tree at this point.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand
some semblance of success there, right? Budenholzer most is Kerr a pop tree?
Is who?
Is Steve Kerr off of the pop tree? Was he ever on the coaching staff with Pop?
No. He's
I know he played with him, but I don't know if he was. Was he ever on a staff? He was on a staff, right?
No, he went right from being an analyst to head coach.
I thought he was on a staff before analyst. Maybe I tweaked on that.
Oh, maybe if he was,
I thought he was on a staff before he became an analyst, and then, or maybe I'm thinking John Paxson. Was Pax a coach? Pax was a coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, Pax was a coach. Yeah, that's assistant coaches from right now: Will Hardy, Jock Vaughn, Joe Prunty, Sam Presti, Sean Marks.
There's some better names on the younger guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Sam Presti. I'm here for Sam Presti.
Ime Udoka's technically from the Greg Popovich coaching tree. Doc Rivers is technically from the Greg Popovich coaching tree as well. So Take that for what you will.
Yeah, he kind of is. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
This explains a lot. Kerr was a GM of the Suns during their run in the mid 2000s.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was?
Kerr was a GM. He was not a coach. Good call on that. That to me, shout out to what was that? Wattage? I'm gonna say Wattage. 84. I don't like.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude. Good dude.
Good man.
Good Bulls fan there.
But no, I think that you're sitting here now and you're looking at the coaching candidates that are out there and saying, you know, if Billy wants to go back to Kentucky, that's fine. I think that change is welcome. But who's going to fit this team now and moving forward? That is a major question for me.
Yeah, for sure. And also, by the way, before we get out this segment, I don't think that I said it. We found out that we did 2 years. 2 years is Billy Donovan's contract. This is per Casey Johnson. We did find out through all of this is that 2 years is the extension that Billy Donovan gave. So he has 2 years left on his deal after the season. Not as bad as we thought, right?
I'm cool with that. All right, get. Hey, go ahead. Hey, what's the show y'all always be sending the memes from, Ringo, with the dude with the bad hair? He got the afro. He'd be like, "Get the guy out of here, look. Take that dumb with you."
But next up, we're going to be talking about, one of the reasons that reportedly LaVine wanted out was Billy Donovan. Could this signal, if he does leave, maybe LaVine is willing to stay? But before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for small businesses, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that mentally qualified candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get qualified candidates within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and may not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Side note, one thing I really do appreciate about LinkedIn Jobs on this ad read, they actually updated. When we first started doing LinkedIn Jobs, it was 80% of small businesses. So they updated it to 86. They actually keep you abreast of how successful they are. So shout out to LinkedIn on that one.
I respect it. We get updated ad reads, and the reads make sense. You can't go wrong because
some of these are a struggle. With that said, so in all of this, right, and I know this is a lot of hypothetical right now, Pat, but we've talked about Zach LaVine, and part of the big reason, reportedly, just all coming from side sources and things like that Zach LaVine was really just overplaying for Billy Donovan. If Billy Donovan does move on, would that make you more inclined to want to see Zach LaVine stay, or do you think that it depends on the coach, the philosophies, things like that? How do you feel about that?
Who's the one? Who's your number one? It's my biggest question.
Yeah.
I don't see this dynamic working. Me and Kid asked this today. He asked, could another coach have come in here and make this team work? I don't think it could have. I don't think there's another coach right now that makes this all of a sudden a elite basketball team. I don't think Monty Williams comes in here and he does a leaps and bounds better job than Billy Donovan. I don't think that Nick Nurse comes in here and he does a leaps and bounds job better than Billy Donovan. I don't think that Mike Budenholzer comes in here and he does a leaps and bounds job better than Billy Donovan, because I think that you're looking at a team that has been put together, and we've had this debate whether it is not before an era of basketball that just doesn't exist anymore. And there's a lot of times where Billy's just like, and even we look at it, we're just like, what was he supposed to do there? Like he gave the basketball to him. There's not a lot for him to work with right here. Now, what I've wanted to see more get done out of Billy Donovan, what I've wanted to see more out of this team, yeah, but like, is there a coach in the league, maybe Eric Spoelstra, right? I guess if you're going to go to the top, if we're doing this hypothetical, that you feel changes so much about the product that you've seen. And I say all that to say, Zach LaVine coming back to me, unless you find, and I'm talking about You got to get it right. You got to find your championship head coach. Unless you find that guy, what changes? You just get back to another point where Zach LaVine is like, hey, this is still kind of the same thing, but there's a new voice attached to it.
Well, I mean, I think that there are changes that can make it to make the Bulls. I agree with you wholeheartedly that there's not many coaches that could change the ceiling of what this team is, but I do think that there are coaches that could have changed, that could have better philosophies that help create a better culture first. And part of that, I always go to this, and I'm not blaming it all on this, but the fact that the Bulls are so comfortable not moving without the ball, even Tom Thibodeau, who didn't have a modern offense, he wouldn't allow that.
No,
he would have stopped practice and say, "Why aren't you moving without the ball?"
You couldn't stop moving with Tom.
Yeah. Because if you stop moving, you're going to be not moving on the bench is where you're going to be sitting at. So, so that's the type of thing I'm looking at for first. I think we need changes for the roster, but the first thing is like, who do you get in somebody who can actually establish a culture that players are going to respect? And that then I think you then trickle down and figure out the fit and things like that. Like, it's not that we don't think Zach LaVine still can't be effective. It's that, okay, how are you going to change things around it if you're going to keep them that make it make sense? And then also how, like, as strapped as you are for cash, as close as you are to the luxury tax, something got to change. So I don't think. Here's what I'll say to kind of answer the question that's presented in the segment, because I talked around it. I won't say yes and I won't say no. I think it really determines on how much change do we need to make. So
to answer the question, I ain't saying yes or no.
I ain't saying yes or no. Honestly, it could go either way. It depends on who you get in here.
I think here's what's tough about it, right? Is I look at Zach LaVine's game and I see a player that can play.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see a player who in the Billy Donovan era has missed a half a season, 3/4 of a season, and just about a full season this year. What did he play? 15, 20 games maybe this year?
25 games, I think.
25 games?
I may be wrong with that.
So another 3/4 of a season, right? Like, no matter what coach comes in here next, you can't improve on availability.
Zach has also been a little bit more available than what you just let on.
How much has he been available?
So the first season Billy came in here, that is 58 games, a little bit over half a season. You're right on that one. The season after that, 67 games, 77 games, and then now the 23 games.
Right, but the season after that, so the first season Billy was here, he played the half a season. Well, no, I guess that would have been the full season. First season Billy was here was COVID year.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, that would have. You're right. That would have been.
That would have been full season. Second season,
67 games.
He was just hurt all year then.
Yeah, that's the year that he had the thumb.
He had the thumb, yeah.
And then the knee.
Yes, he would play, but it was like he was ineffective. You lose Lonzo that year as well. Third year, he kind of was hurt all year again.
Yeah.
And then you get this year where he's missed a bunch of time. I like what coach is going to fix that? What coach, like, maybe he smiles more on the bench. Maybe he follows the team around, right? Like, Zach's kind of gotten to a point where he just doesn't show up with the team anymore because of the injury. But
I think like you said, if it's a Venn diagram, right? You're looking at, if you're making a determination on Zach, the contract is there because you have to factor that in. The value of the contract versus how much time you think he's going to play on the court, and then the fit of the team, whatever team you're trying to then build, right? So wherever those three things overlap at, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it at that point? And
I don't see it as worth it. Me personally, I think that it's a point.
And it's made so much more difficult that it's a $45 million. If it was a $25 million contract, we're not having this conversation.
No. But I think even with that, right, with a $45 million deal, next year you get a little bit more into some of these contracts that are absolutely ridiculous. Teams are going to be a lot more like, I don't know if I'm paying $45 million for a guy to just be a guy. But
the 76ers may have to pay for several guys to just be guys. You know, they got 3 players under contract next year.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
So
maybe there's some interest there. I don't know, man. Like I think you're still in the same position you were in this year. And I guess maybe that's our answer on all of it, right? It's not about will Zach LaVine stay. It's about will AK be willing to get rid of him. They weren't willing to lose him for nothing this year.
Yeah.
They
I
weren't
still don't
willing to
think that's
give
going to
him
be
up and
the
take it
thing.
out.
Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see.
I don't know, man. It's I'll tell you this much. I'm not confident in the outlook of next season. If Billy Donovan is not here, if Billy Donovan is here, I guess the thing is, if Billy Donovan is here, at least it'd be the same. I don't know.
Is that the point that we've gotten to that point? That's crazy.
Well, I just like, does going backwards help? Well, I guess next year going backwards would help us. Next year, because of the pick being top
10 protected.
Top 10 protected. Yeah. Going backwards realistically would help us. But I don't know, man. I'm not
So Pat is saying back that thing up. Take that.
Pat was not saying that.
You didn't say that.
Not
you
come out
said
of
that.
Pat's mouth.
That
is
I need you.
Those words are Haize's and Haize's alone. Is full screen. Nope, you're not doing that to me. Those were Haize's words and Haize's alone. You stay right there. Hey man, let's do an ad read in here before we get fired up in this mug. Too many take that this week. I don't like that. Hey, appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. We got to talk about will the Bulls be able to get revenge on the Knicks. Ringo's back here throwing flags like we're still on the breeze. Got to talk about the Bulls going up against the Knicks and seeing if they can kind of, stay on top this time. Seeing if no diddy. But first, we got to tell you guys all about Game Time now, making things the easiest with Major League Baseball starting up at getting your tickets faster and easier. Prices on Game Time will actually go down the closer you get to your first pitch. So you need to browse this app. You can find out where you're sitting. MLB a little bit easier, but there are still some ballparks in this league where you need to know where you are sitting. I might be getting some tickets for a Brewers game here coming up. That park, it doesn't matter. You can sit anywhere. You're sitting at the cell. First off, if you're sitting in the 500 section, if you're sitting all the way at the top, what are you doing? Nobody's at the game. Don't worry about it. Just walk on down. Come on in. But you could be able to look at all of your tickets. You get last minute deals, flash deals, zone deals, all in pricing, views from your seats, and the lowest prices is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. Again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
All right there, Pat. Last topic of the day, man. The Bulls do take on the New York Knicks again. As has been a kind of a story for the Chicago Bulls. When they do beat a team, usually that team comes back and tries to knock the head off the Chicago Bulls. What chances are you giving the Bulls to win this game? That's not a pause. Knock the head off ain't a pause. Come on, bro. That's post-traumatic stress disorder. That's not a pause, bro.
It just felt wrong, but I
felt wrong.
Felt wrong.
That's fair. How confident are you with this game with the Bulls and Knicks, brother?
I'm never confident after beating Tom Thibodeau. He's so good. Like, it's the one thing that Tom has probably been. I would love to see his record after a team beats him.
Well, remember we had 3 years in a row with the Chicago Bulls where they beat every team in the NBA at least once because Tom Thibodeau usually adjusts pretty well.
I would love to, and I may look that up after we end up getting off here because I'm not going to be able to find it right now. But I would love to see his record after a team actually beats him. Tom Thibodeau is an absolute defensive tactician, always has been, always will be. He can get the most out of players who you look at and you go, that's not a defender. I mean, let's be real, dog. He had Kyle Korver playing some kind of defense.
Yeah.
Like, that is the greatest thing that I think I may have ever seen coaching wise. Like, if you watch Kyle Korver the rest of your career, it's like, oh, he actually couldn't do that. Like, he was not good at it.
We had CJ Watson looking like a good defender, bro.
CJ Watson was getting steals, bro. I mean, he had Nate Robinson, and then Nate ended up hemming up CJ Watson. Like, there was so many 5'9" point guards that were getting clamps out there, dog. Like, he was the king of creating the backup point guard. I'm not gonna lie, he was impressive for a little while there. But I never expect the Bulls, especially, but any team, to get the best of Thibs twice. And I think that this is a game that we probably end up losing here because I don't expect the Bulls to get the best of Thibs twice.
And this is the last home game of the season for the Chicago Bulls.
It may get ugly, dog. It may go out. The Donovan era, if he does leave, may end in Chicago with a
20-point loss to a former Chicago Bulls coach.
I was going to say 126-104 loss, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it may get ugly real quick.
It could be ugly. And it comes down to the Bulls. We know that Billy Donovan is not the strategist that Tom Thibodeau is, but the Bulls have to have intensity on defense like they did in that first game. They have to have 48 minutes of intensity on the defensive side of the ball. If they don't, I think it's going to be ugly, because in that game, one of the reasons the Bulls offense did look so good is that they were creating easy opportunities because of the defense that they were playing. And we still only ended up winning by 8 points. So,
and they lost 2 of their major players.
Yeah. So got to be prepared defensively in this game. Got to be prepared.
You know what? I guess if there's one thing with Billy Donovan that I've always had an issue with is he's never instilled the culture of, hey, I've got a guy who used to have my job and I need to show him why I'm better at it than he is. And I think that goes down to the players. You rarely, like, DeMar always cooks Toronto, but for the most part, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody has that feeling of like, hey, I need to show out versus the former team that I was associated with. And I think that like, I do believe that starts at the top. Like, and here's the reason I say that is Thibs does it every time to every team he's ever been a part of. Thibs plays Boston, ridiculous. Like, hey, we got to beat Boston. I know what it is. Thibs plays the Bulls. Hey, we got to go out here. We got to give the best effort that we can give. Thibs plays, I mean, like name it, Minnesota? Like, I don't know, bro. I just, it's one of those things for me that if there was a culture that you could build, I would love to see him build that kind of culture up.
Yeah, I mean, I that again, culture is the thing that one of the things that the Bulls are missing the most. And when you play against coaches like Tom Thibodeau, it just reminds you of how much we're missing something like that.
Yeah, well,
so
not gonna lie, I got a WWE Raw on the TV up here. John Cena just ran out, and that hair. We got to talk about this before we get up out of here. Did you see John Cena's hair yesterday, bro? He just got it. There's still a bald spot.
Bro, he's John Cena is what he got to be 40 at this point, almost 50.
He just got the hair back. He got it put in. He did the turkey.
Yeah. But
got it back.
He's probably not supposed to be having physical activity while he just got the hair in, bro. Like you gotta let the seedlings take hold in the roots, bro. Like he's 46 years old.
Just a full-on ball spot, bro. I don't know.
You know what's funny enough is that I'm at this place. I remember John Cena's debut, the ruthless aggression and punching Kurt Angle in the face. I still remember that. Yeah. And the fact that it's like that it's been that long, it's crazy, bro. It's wild.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Yeah. John Cena came back with a bald spot. It's sad to see. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. John Cena's almost got the Tom Thibodeau. Thibs got the worst bald spot ever, bro.
No, bro. Have you seen
bro, because Thibs got
Jeff Green? Jeff Green. Jeff Green got the landing spot, bro.
Nah, bro. Because here's the thing: he's got like the island here, and then like it's bald here, but then it's also like receding hairline, island, bald, and then like he's got the spot in the back. Like he's got like 3 things going on, and most of it's balding.
Bro, I need you to go look at Jeff Green's. I think seeing Jeff Green's 2024 hair may make you change that opinion, bro. Jeff Green's hair is terrible, bro.
Hold on. Jeff Green bald spot. Let's see.
It literally looks like he has a blonde, like he dyed his hair blonde, but it's just bald.
I'm concerned on what I'm seeing here because I Googled Jeff Green bald spot and like a picture of this man shirtless popped up. What's happening? What?
All right, come on. Send us out of here, bro.
What's going on, Google?
Send us out of here. It's time to go, brother.
Appreciate you. Ooh, hey, yo, Locked On Rockets just popped up. Locked On Rockets just Jesus. See, why go bald fade there though? He's got like the Doc Rivers, who clearly is also bald in the back, but he's trying to like lowly taper because like the lining ain't gone yet, baby. No, we can see that you're bald, dog. Let it go.
Yeah,
just like. Or get it tattooed in. Just tattoo like the hairline in. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Show love it. That like button, subscribe to the page. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. And you can't neglect your hairline, brother.
Please don't. Please, people, do not neglect your hairline. It is a vital part of everything that happens in life is to have a hairline. And, you know, me and Pat, two people who have our original hairlines, we're trying to get you guys right. That's
still good,
that's
man.
all I can say. I
got to brush the hair. It's a little... I was stressed after the bid.
Listen, that's Jeff Green's ball spot over there on the right.
Oh, he getting the paint,
bro.
Oh, he's getting a little paint added to it.
That's all I can say on that. You guys follow me at CEO Haize. Want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube. We out here. Peace, y'all.
Oh no, not the paint around the ball spot. That man, ball spot got the crossroads done to it, man. Shout out Rhea Ripley, by the way. Oh, man.